All right. Welcome, everyone who's going to watch back because you all are watching right now, aren't you? We're going to be experimenting with eating slowly this month. And personally, it's something that has had a huge impact on my health, my weight, my digestion, and also my coaching. So it's often the very first habit that I start people on in my coaching program. And it's because it's often not thought about, it's often missed the benefit of eating slowly. And we live in a very fast paced, chaotic, stressful, messy world. And one of the things that we often do is eat on the run or eat in front of a screen or eat in, you know, fashion that doesn't allow us to stop, process what we're doing, process the actual food mechanically and chemically in our bodies, and also just eat mindfully. It's a really important part of the eating process. We can often focus on calories and numbers and protein and grams, and they're all important, but eating slowly can just shift the focus to something that's a little bit more holistic and certainly in my experience and my clients' experience, very beneficial. So, Karen, tell us about your experience of eating slowly.
So this is why I want you to lead this one because this is definitely something that I am very naughty, naughty, naughty with, and I know the benefits. I understand the benefits, and I feel the benefits when I do practice eating slowly. But it's just not something that I ever grew up with. I've told you my history before. My mum's a sergeant, ex-sergeant major in the army, and everything was very drilled, fast, hard, and so I just grew up doing things really quickly and it got me really efficient. But yeah, eating slowly is not one of my fortes. Um, but in saying that, I'm not. I don't need to lose weight. I'm not trying to change my eating habits, so to speak. So it's not necessarily something that I've ever had to think about or worry about. But I definitely notice the difference when I eat slowly. I definitely notice that I get full faster, that I feel more satisfied. And so it would be, in theory, great for me to practice it more.
Sure. Olaide, any thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I like that in general. I think I'm a natural opposite of you, Karen. I was always the last on the table. I always ate very slow. My siblings were totally, I mean, they're used to it, but also a bit annoyed. I was always ending up alone on the table. But yeah, I think that was a part of it, like with it said. I think more later when I went to like I learned chef also, so I was in a boarding school, and then we ate together. But people didn't want to sit with me on the table at lunchtime at some point because you couldn't leave the table until the last one was done. So I sometimes even pushed myself a bit harder to eat faster. Even that was still so slow. So whatever, I'm just a slow eater. And the loneliness was not so great. But a part of me was also like, whatever, I just enjoy my food so much. And I think I also chat a lot when I eat. I think it was because, family, we were a big family. We sit together. I love eating together. It's coming together, it's eating, chatting, knowing how was your day, how, talking deep talks and stuff. So I think maybe some of these things are just more implemented in me. And I like tasting my food.
Sure. They're all really good reasons why I've recommended and other people recommend eating slowly because, like I said at the beginning, when you're in a fast paced, chaotic world, it's
Mhm.
often easy to finish the meal really quickly to get to the next thing. And when you do that, you don't give yourself a chance to taste your food, to understand where it's come from, to let your body do the work in digesting it,
Mhm.
and that is a really important part of it. So, for anyone trying to lose weight or to just improve their health, eating slowly does all those things without having to count numbers and weigh food and measure anything. It's a
Mm.
really practical way to start. And I just actually had a conversation with an online client 10 minutes ago who said, I don't have time to do anything. But at the end of the conversation, to cut a long story short, we agreed that she could eat slowly. She was in control of that. She might not be able to count her calories. She might not be able to get to the gym this week, but she can control how fast or slow she eats. And that's one thing that she's going to commit to. So, yeah, let's think about it this week in terms of what it actually feels like to just consider it, to practice it maybe, and we'll talk more strategy and more implementation next week if I'm correct, Karen. Yeah.
Well, for
Yep.
me, if you say that, I can definitely, because I remember a time when there was also a time the people were talking about eating slower for not getting, for being faster full, just to like, not just the part of my childhood, I experienced it, my personal things around it, but also on a health perspective, I think I can understand where this comes from. Because I remember a time where like in my younger ages, when I did a lot of waitress and hospitality, I had to eat so fast in 5 minutes because you just had always stress, and I always had stomach ache. You didn't know what you were eating, how much you were eating. It was just so stressful, and then you're quickly this was just there, no awareness of food actually, and I hated it so much. I hated it. So I'm really happy that I'm not doing that anymore because then it came natural a bit more back for me. So maybe now I can even have a deeper understanding on actually how much it influences also around the whole health, losing weight and all these things, right? It makes total sense to me.
Yeah, I think enjoying it, taking your time, yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Mm.
Just
Yeah.
to touch on one of the main benefits, we'll talk more about the benefits and some strategies next week, but it takes roughly 20 minutes for your body to register that you've had enough food. Most of us eat meals in under 10 minutes, the majority under 5. So you're feeling that sense of fullness
Yeah.
well after you've finished the meal, which means there's every chance that you've overeaten, because when we actually sit down to eat, historically, 1,000 years ago, it was in your best interest to overeat because you didn't know where your next meal was coming from. And so, therefore, from a survival perspective, it's in your best interest to eat as much as possible while you've got the opportunity to eat. Clearly, now we live in a very different world, a modern world where we have Uber Eats and Coles supermarkets and fridges and wardrobes, cupboard, pantries is the word I'm looking for. And we have abundant food everywhere. So, from a health and satiety perspective, you are going to benefit from eating slowly because you will register, oh, I'm starting to get full, even when you've still got food on your plate. And as much as that might be an interesting experiment for some to leave some of that food on your plate and put it back in the fridge or throw it out, perhaps, then yeah, you will benefit. So let's talk more strategy next week.
And also, just on that topic, which is really, really interesting, is back in the hunter-gatherer days, the food they were eating was so dense. If they were eating berries, they were eating nuts, they were eating, food that actually was hard to chew and took a long time to digest. Now, you take a bite of a Big Mac and it literally melts in your mouth and dissolves, or you eat processed food, it melts in your mouth and dissolves. So the food process in your mouth is so quick. So if you don't consciously take that time to chew and just think about it, it just goes. Like that's a really big issue with why people are consuming so much. It's so easy to consume so much. But I'm excited for next week for you to actually go through the tactics and the skills, whatever it is to actually slow down and all those little tips and tricks. So that'll be good.
I'll go as far as to say that for me personally, when I was trying to lose weight, that eating slowly was the single most effective habit that I utilized to help me eat less at a time when I was trying to lose weight. So I look forward to next week. Yeah, be exciting.
That's massive. Whew. Awesome. All right. I'm excited for next week. Olaide, do you have any questions, thoughts, any reflections on the past week that you want to share with us, or anything that comes to
Oh, God, I have thousand reflections in my life at the moment. But if I take it on a, yeah, exactly. If I take it only the protein reflection,
Yeah.
maybe, or the exercising and stuff, um, I think I have a hard time, but when it comes to the exercising part, not as much as it was some weeks before. And I actually personally do like exercising. Although when I was young, I just think that I'm not, with all the stress around, let myself, not prioritize it enough. And if I shift that, that might make a big, not might, will make a big change within myself. And I'm still like, working on this, like, what is it around that? And why do you not prioritize that first? I mean, as you said last time, you guys have this like as a, like that's your life, your work, you're constantly in it. It's a bit easier, like with my, expertise, but it's just not an excuse, right? Because yeah, it's my health. So I think the protein I'm doing fine. The exercising could really really improve. Yeah. And the eating slower, thank God, is yeah part of what I have, but I'm gonna take it on the next next level of bringing more awareness to it on including my whole calories and trainings and health things. So I'm looking forward to next week for that.
Can I ask you a question, Elida, about the exercise in particular?
Mm.
Do you feel good at exercising?
Yes and no. Yes,
What
most of
part
the
of it is
time.
no?
Sorry?
What part of it is no?
Ah, the pain. The
But that
pain.
but do you feel good at exercising? When you are doing the exercising, are you good at
Yeah.
what you do?
Yeah, I feel you mean like the personal feeling I have, not if I'm like perfect at the exercise. Is this what you mean?
Well, I'm
Confidence. Do you feel
yeah.
confident
Are
in
you
what you do?
confident when you're exercising?
Um, Yes, if you mean confident in the exercise, I feel more confident because I think you've showed me so many times now, both of you. The videos are quite good explained, also like very good explained. And I've done it already like in the last half a year, also through Karen's program, and so I'm more and more confident around these things. And I just added some things that I like the dead bug is just always so fun that like it hurts my fucking course, but still, it's just so fun that I just always do this one anyways.
You should, my view, you should start with that one because then that's the exciting thing for you is just start with a dead bug, see where it goes. Because
Oh
if
yeah,
you
that's
love
good.
the dead
Oh
bug,
yeah, because I did it as the last yesterday. Just like, oh,
yeah,
come on, I'm just gonna do your course, and then I was just crying and but it's just so
yeah,
fun.
sure. I love what I'm exploring is the friction between you not working out and you working out. And if exercising regularly is something you're working on, then there's a couple of things to just at least consider. And one is when you feel successful, you're more likely to do something. I'm sure your singing for you is something that you don't have to think about practicing because you're very good at it, right?
Mm, yeah,
If
yeah,
exercise becomes that, and part of that is just showing up and doing the practice regularly, like learning a new
mm,
language or like learning an instrument, it doesn't come naturally early on, so you have to continue to show up and do it.
yeah,
So
right.
yeah, perhaps it's just a part of feeling more successful and reducing the friction between starting. That's why I was suggesting start with something that you love, just an idea. But yeah,
Yeah,
the more you show up, the more you practice, the better you get at it, the less friction there'll be, and the more you'll do it.
yeah, it's good. Yeah, I'll start with it. I'll start with my. Already the name makes me laugh. I'll start with this bug.
If it's not fun, you won't do it regularly. So make it fun. It's great.
I make it fun. Yeah, I do that. I start with that. And then I love the chest pushes. That was already my favorite when I was young in my 20s. I'm like, "Mm, mm." I think I'm a little bit I think I'm a bit a fitness bitch. If I would have stayed that in younger days, I would have become like a fitness bitch, you know.
I love it.
I don't even know if this is a word that exists.
It is now.
It
Yeah.
is now. Yeah.
I think
No.
also we touched on last week, the pieces of the puzzle. You've become so much more confident with the protein side of things. Now this is the next step. So, you don't have to spend so much brain space on protein anymore because that's happening for you almost automatically. And now the
Mm.
next brain space goes to getting yourself to exercise. And it's the
Yeah.
next piece. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exciting, yes. And staying consistent. I think really that is that. If you have any thought that you can give me on that, maybe the consistency, because it's a word, we know what it means, and I am sometimes, and then I'm not, and then life happens, and then you again fall into that. You have to start over again, and then I'm depressed, and then I'm angry at myself, and then I'm disappointed at myself, and then I have to start again, and then I'm tired of the thoughts that I have that don't make me even want to exercise anymore. So
I think it all comes down to having a plan, like with everything, like with food, like with sleep. You
true.
need to have a routine, you need to have a plan. And so, what is your plan for the week? Is it something every day? Is it one day cardio, one day strength, one day cardio, one day strength? Like, what is your plan? What's going to fit in with your life? And then it's just holding yourself accountable, I think,
Okay,
and
yeah, well, yeah, that makes sense because funny enough, I started making myself a schedule the last 2 days, which I put in the gym, which is why I went to the gym. And then my head was just like not having to think about it. Oh, what's in there now? Gym. Got up 5:30. And then I went like, had my protein, had my morning thing, whatever, meditated a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the gym. So,
what is
Making
discipline?
it,
Discipline is something that you have structure in your life that you almost don't have to think about it. You're eliminating any possible challenge between what it is that you need to do. That's
mm,
discipline. You brush your teeth automatically. You have a shower automatically. You don't think about these things, you just do them. And
yeah.
eventually, exercise will be the same. And the only
Mm,
way that you create that discipline is by doing it over and over and over again, having it in your schedule on repeat, if you can't just do it every morning or every afternoon, then you need to know Mondays it fits in here, Tuesdays it fits
yeah.
in here. It's just eliminating any chance of distraction, any chance of pulling out, just non-negotiable commitment.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Should have
And you,
can
just
I
gone
add something?
on.
yeah,
Yes.
Karen, you're brilliant at the discipline side of things. Maybe
Yeah.
it's the maybe it's the sergeant major mum of yours that brought you up that way, and what perhaps it was also, if I can add in the blend of self compassion that comes in to discipline. Yes, you need a plan. We all need a plan. Otherwise, we're just drifting in the wind, right? When you establish that plan, that is the foundation. But as we all know, life throws challenges at you, and you may have gym scheduled on one day, and you may have a sick kid, or you may have a dog that needs to get to the vet, or you may have something. So, what is a way that you can then show yourself enough self compassion to go, okay, I still want to achieve my goal, which is to be in control of my health or whatever your words are that you choose. So, what is a version of that I can do? And that's why I talked about the dead bugs, because if you had 45 minutes in the gym on your schedule one day and life gets in the way,
Mm.
okay, I can't get to the gym. What can I achieve? What tiny version of that can I achieve that still takes me towards my goal that isn't throwing in the towel? And that might be get on the floor and do as many dead bugs as I can because I love them. There's no barrier, there's no friction. I can do that. And then at least I can resume my normal, chaotic, messy world life that day and go, I've done something that takes me
Mm.
towards my goal. I haven't thrown
Yes.
the towel and I don't have to stop and I don't have to beat myself up and I don't have to pick up the pieces tomorrow because I have done something. So, a
Right.
combination of the discipline, the hard sergeant major, and the self compassion, when you find that blend, that
Yeah.
is where the magic is in for me.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
don't mean to minimize it to say that it's just so easy to create that discipline. Like it takes a lot of time. So I'm not saying you go from, zero to being 100% perfect, but to have the mindset that this is going to be a part of your life and self-compassion. I totally agree with you. If it doesn't work, then you just get back on that horse and keep going. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Showing up in your imperfection. I think you're talking about showing up, Karen. Discipline. and
Yeah.
I'm talking about compassion. I think the middle
Mm.
ground is showing up in your imperfection. It might not be
Yes.
perfect. You might not be able to get the perfect workout in, but I'm still showing up. I'm still getting something done, and I'm still moving the needle in the right direction. I'll shut up.
And no, and being super proud of yourself, even if it doesn't, if it's not 100% perfect, that workout that you intended on doing, something's got
Yeah.
to be, and being proud, recognizing, that you are keeping your word to yourself.
Yeah, I think that's very important. It does something to the mindset, keeping my word, my promise to myself. It's not even for someone
Mm.
else, right? Yeah.
Positive
Yeah.
always.
Yes, love it. We'll take it all in. My
Love
God,
it.
I'm so lucky again. I have my two coaches just for myself.
VIP.
Keep
VIP.
showing up, and you will get this attention, Olaide.
I like it.
Peace out.
Any questions?
Um,